this one. Sarah, what great vibes you have. Thanks for the talk. This should be the mic drop opportunity that I've been looking for. Um, what is your favorite emoji in communication with your team? You probably think that it's the poop emoji based on that presentation, but there's a creepy little emoji, the hug one. It's got tiny little hands. I like it because it's got some mixed messages associated with it. And those hands are just too small. I like to make people feel a little out of place, and so that's probably the one I use most. Are your remote employees mostly full-time or freelancers? So we've experimented with working with freelancers, but right now at Dribbble, we're focused on growing our team. In January of 2017, we were 8 people, and at this time, we're now at 34 people. So we've been really looking to grow our team and move a lot quicker. We were acquired back last January, and so that infusion of cash has allowed us to invest in that team. And so everyone that we currently have today is a full-time employee. All right, what do you consider as the biggest struggle in working with remote teams? I think the biggest struggle, but one that we at Dribbble are very sensitive to, is making sure that people feel that they are a part of the team. We are spread out in different time zones, but we have a pretty strong management structure. We also use a buddy system, as Laura was talking about earlier today, so that everyone who joins the team always has someone to talk to. If you're in a time zone that's not overlapping with other people, which luckily we don't really have that problem today, we do make sure that there is someone who overlaps at least somewhat to check in with you and be a part of that. But I think, again, helping to really engage people and look for ways for that culture to make them feel a part of the team is really important. And so we've invested a lot of time in the past year in how we make that culture really strong and inclusive for our team members. All right, how can a remote designer communicate the design clearly and efficiently to dev? Somehow, even when the designer sits next to the dev, misunderstandings can happen. This is so true, and you could actually do another talk completely on this topic. And a big part of my career, especially kind of sitting at that intersection of code and design, has been trying to make this more effective. Again, totally not sponsored by InVision, but there is a tool that InVision has through the prototype feature called Handoff. And Handoff is basically an inspection tool. There are a lot of those around now, where a developer can go in and see the exact pixel dimensions of an asset. They can download the assets, see the colors and fonts that are used, and have all of that information. But again, having strong communication is probably the thing that's even more important than that. And what we have done at Dribbble when we're hiring for the design team is we're actually looking for people who are both front-end developers and designers. So we don't have an explicit handoff between design and engineering. Our designers are also front-end, and so they will work on the visual presentation side, and then they will work with a back-end engineer to hook it all up. How are performance reviews done for something as subjective as design? Is compensation linked to performance? This is a great question. So we do performance reviews. All of the designers at Dribbble, unfortunately for them, currently report to me. And the way that we do performance reviews is that we set goals with our designers, just as we do with everyone else on the team. Some of those goals are set based on things we want to accomplish as a company. But that's kind of unfair in terms of looking at compensation, because often decisions are made that don't involve a designer. A project manager might cancel a project or something else takes priority, and so you can't meet that goal. And so we place a lot more importance on how you want to develop your career as a designer. And so we'll look at goals like, you know, I want to learn more about how to work with GraphQL, or I want to refactor the way that we're using CSS today. And they pick that up as a personal project. And as their manager, I look for opportunities for those designers to take on those goals that they've set. And so as a manager looking for ways to help them grow their career and help them be successful at Dribbble, I'm looking for those opportunities so that they can meet those goals. A big part of making performance reviews successful, from my perspective, is that they should never be a surprise. And so every week when I have one-on-ones with my design team, we talk about those goals, how they're going, if they feel they should be changed. Maybe you have a new interest you want to explore. But the key to us is that if Dribbble is headed in the direction that we want and our team is happy and making progress towards those goals, then performance reviews are going to go pretty well. And so they're not really a stressful thing for us. They're more of a reflection on what we've done and where we want to go next. All right, what is the main quality you look for when hiring a remote worker? I think this has been mentioned by some of the other speakers. The most important thing for us is definitely communication. We also want people who are okay with having a little bit of fun. We're a bit of a goofy group. There are a lot of other people like me at Dribbble. So if you're like one of us, we're hiring, so come find me. But we definitely want people who want to have fun while they work and don't mind jumping on calls to work together. Collaboration is really important, especially on the design team. But mostly it's just communicating what you do and being open. I'm going to throw one more in there, which is also important to us, is that you don't have to be a designer joining Dribbble. It's cool if you are, but we want you to be passionate about communities and building them. Our community is everything to us. Community comes first as our primary value as a company. We don't do anything that we think is not going to have a big impact on our community. And so we're looking for people who really buy into that.